Um, Good afternoon, students. So today we are moving on to another new lesson in the Business and Accounting Studies class for the grade 10 students. So today we are going to learn about prime entry books. So we will be learning about couple of things. So introduction to prime entry books, the necessity of prime entry books, the source documents, and uses of source documents. And this is not a very big lesson. This is a small lesson. So we can do it quickly, but it is a very important lesson. Okay. So far we completed 6 lessons: background of business, business environment, business organization, and 3 accounting lessons: introduction to accounting, accounting equation, and dual impact of transactions. Okay. So we have completed these 6 lessons, and now we are in the uh, 7th lesson. Okay, so we are going to learn about prime entry books. Okay, so that is what we are going to learn. So what are prime entry books? Prime entry books are the books in which transactions of a business are recorded at first, according to the order in which each transactions had occurred, by using generally accepted method before recording them in the ledger accounts. Prime entry books are also named as journals, day books, and subsidiary books. Okay, now when we look at accounting and accounting transactions, so what happens first is we have transactions. Okay, so we have transactions, and we already learned transactions are 2 forms. They could be cash or it could be credit. Okay, now these transactions are happening in day-to-day businesses. Okay, now if you look at every day, okay, every day there are number of transactions. Okay, there are number of transactions. For example, purchases of goods, then sale of good, introduction of capital, okay, payment for renters. Likewise, there could be hundreds and thousands of transactions. Okay, now what we do is first we record these transactions. Okay, first we record these transactions in prime entry books. Prime entry books. So first we record them in prime entry books. Afterward, okay, second, what we do is we record them in ledgers. Okay, so first we will record them in first we will be recording them in prime entry books, and then we are recording them in ledger. Okay, so as we record all these transactions in the prime entry book first, so we are going to learn what are these prime entry books. Okay, as we record all these transactions in prime entry books, we are going to learn what are these prime entry books. Okay, now in businesses or in accounts, now these prime entry books, okay, these prime entry books are also known as journals, okay, day books, and subsidiary books. Okay, so if you are being told something like without the name of prime entry book, okay, without the name of prime entry book, they can tell you enter transactions in journals, enter transaction in day books, enter transaction in subsidiary book. So what does it mean? It means the same thing. Transactions have to be entered in the prime entry book. Okay, so so that's it for the beginning, and let's look at what are these prime entry books. Okay, so it is not suitable to record all the transactions in a single prime entry book. Hence, transaction has to be classified and recorded based on their nature and common characteristics. Now, I told you guys, okay. Now, I told you guys. Now we have everyday transactions which could be hundreds and thousands. Okay, it could be hundred and even it could be thousands. Okay, now all these transactions, however, can have similar characteristics. Okay, similar characteristics. Now, based on these similar characteristics, what we do is we record them in prime entry books. Okay. Now, based on these characteristics, what we do is we record them in prime entry books. Different prime entry books. Different prime entry books. So we have thousands and thousands of transactions. Okay. If you look at the transactions in a business, everyday transactions of a business, it could go from hundreds to thousands. Okay, it could go from hundreds to thousands. So these hundreds to thousands of transactions can have similar characteristics. Okay, they can have similar characteristics. So based on these similar characteristics, what we do is we record them in different prime entry books. So we have few types of prime entry books, and in them we are recording them. So what are these prime entry books and the types of the transactions? Okay, so if you look at to your left hand side, you will see the types of transactions. Transactions related to receipt and payment of cash book. Transactions carried out through bank current account, bank account. Petty cash transaction, petty cash book. Purchases of trades, good on credit, purchases journal. Sale of trade goods on credit, sales journal. And other transactions, general journal. Okay, so as I said, now transactions, there are several transaction types. Okay, there are several transaction types. For example, there could be transactions related to what? Receipt and payment of cash. Okay, that could be one thing. Okay, then there could be transactions carried through bank account. Okay, and then there could be another transaction type, which is petty cash transactions. And then there could be another transaction type where purchases of trade goods on credit. Okay, then there could be another transaction, sale of goods, sale of trade goods. Okay, sale of trade goods on credit. Okay, then there could be another transactions which are not any of these transactions but other transactions. Okay, so when things are happening like this, what we do is we record them in different prime entry books. Let's say we have a transaction or we have a bulk of transactions which are related to receipt and payment of cash. Okay, then we record it in what? Cash book. Okay, we record them in cash. Okay, let's say there are a bulk of transactions that are carried out through the bank account. Okay. We record them in bank account. Okay, that is the name of the prime entry book. Name of the prime entry book is bank account. Okay, it could be some petty cash transactions. Okay, that means transactions which are happening in small values. Okay, then we are recording them in petty cash book. Petty cash book. Okay, petty cash book. Okay, then it could be a transaction which is purchases of trade goods on credit. Okay, one ණයට බඩු ගන්නවා. ණයට බඩු ගන්න transactions. A transaction type එක ඔයා මොකද record කරන්නේ in something called purchases journal. Okay, ඒ වගේ මාට තියෙන පුළුවන් ණයට විකුණන ඒවා. Sale of trade goods on credit. Okay, so you record them in sales journal. එතකොට මේ තිබ්බ types අපිට තියෙනවා මෙතන how many types 1 2 3 4 and 5 මේ types පහටම අදාළ නැති transactions අපි වෙනම other transactions කියලා ඒ ටික record කරනවා in what in general journal. Okay, so that's how we do it. Okay, type of transactions, we have different types of transactions which are basically of 5 types, and any transaction that is not falling into these 5 types we are putting them under other transactions and we record them in relevant journal books or relevant prime entry books. So it could be a transaction that is carried out in the bank account. We are recording them in the bank account. Bank account is the prime entry book. If it is a transaction related to receipt and payment of cash, we record it in cash book. Cash book is the prime entry book. If it is a petty cash transaction, we record it in petty cash book. Okay, petty cash book is the prime entry book. If it is a purchase of a trade good on credit, we record it in the purchase journal. Purchase journal is the prime entry book. Then if it is a sale of trade goods on credit, then we record it in sales journal. Sales journal is the prime entry book. And if it is some other transaction, we record it in the general journal. Okay, general journal is the final prime entry book. So we have 6 types of prime entry books. මොන හරි transaction එකක් වුණත් අපි මොකද කරන්නේ? Everyday transactions, we first record them in the prime entry books. Okay, so prime entry books can be called as journals, day books, and subsidiary books, and then we record them in the ledger. Okay, so we can write down the note. You can put the main heading as prime entry books, which is the name of the lesson, and then subheading introduction to prime entry book. So I will read it out. Recording business transactions directly in the ledger accounts as they occur can present challenges. Therefore, before they are entered into the ledger accounts, transactions should be first recorded in a separate set of books called prime entry books. Prime entry book definition. Prime entry books are the books in which transactions of a business are recorded at first, according to the order in which each this transaction has occurred, by using a generally accepted method before recording them in the ledger account. It is not suitable to record all the transactions in a single prime entry book. Hence, transactions has to be classified and recorded based on their nature and their common characteristics. So we have the table below. So take a couple of minutes and write down this note. Okay, now we are moving on to the next slide. So now we are going to look at what are the necessity of prime entry book. Okay, what are the necessity of prime entry book? So the recordings of transactions in prime entry books is necessary due to following reasons. ඇයි මේ prime entry books වල මේ දේවල් record කරන්න ඕන කියන එක තමයි අපි දැන් ඉගෙන ගන්න හදන්නේ. Okay, similar types of transactions of a period need to be classified and recorded. Okay, similar types of transactions of a period need to be classified and recorded. So what are the necessities of prime entry book? Okay, necessities of prime entry books. Okay, now one thing is similar types of transactions for a period need to be classified and record. Now that is to group similar transactions. So it's easy for you to review, right? If similar things are grouped, so you can review it easily. Let's say you want to see all the credit purchases that is recorded in a purchases journal. So it's very easy. Okay. Then posting transactions to the ledger become more systematical and convenient after recording them in the prime entry book. Okay. The second one is ease of posting to ledger accounts, because it become more systematic and convenient. Right. Then the second, responsibility of preparing each prime entry book can be assigned to distinctly to various individuals accordingly. The business could minimize possible errors and frauds. The third one is delegation of duties. එතකොට අපිට පුළුවන් එක පොතක් කාට හරි බලන්න කියලා වෙනම වෙන් කරන්න. Delegation of duties and minimize errors and frauds. Then fourth one is it is easy to maintain a ledger because totals of prime entry books are posted to ledger, which minimize the number of the entries posted. So it is convenience in the posting because there will be less entries. Okay. Then minimize the occurrence of accounting errors as it is easy to find out such errors. Okay. Then again, minimizing errors. Okay. Information of transaction is obtained from source documents to record them in the prime entry book. Therefore, it is important to understand the relationship between prime entry books and the source documents. So now how it happens is, earlier we told what we do is we first record it in prime entry books, okay, and then we record it in ledger accounts. Okay, now we learn up to this point. Now in future we will be recording them in the trial balance. Okay, now but the important thing is, now when we want to record these things in the prime entry books, these are coming from different source documents. Different source documents. So we need to know the relationship between these source documents, and we need to know the relationship between these source documents and the prime entry book. Source document and the prime entry book. Okay. So we will be learning about that as well. Okay. So let's take a couple of minutes before learning about that. Let's take a couple of minutes and write down the necessity of prime entry books. So in fact, put it as the subheading. Then the recording of transactions in prime entry books is necessary due to following reasons. Similar types of transactions of a period need to be classified and recorded. Posting transactions to the ledger account becomes systematical and convenient after recording them in the prime entry book. Then the responsibility of preparing each prime entry book can be assigned distinctly to various individuals, and accordingly the business could minimize possible errors and frauds. Then it is easy to maintain the ledger because totals of the prime entry books are posted to the ledger, which minimizes the number of entries posted. Then minimize the occurrences of accounting errors, and it is easy to find out such errors. Then information of the transaction is being obtained from the source. Those are the points. And then after that, you can write information of transaction is as a separate paragraph, you can write information of the transaction is obtained from source documents to record them in the prime entry books. Therefore, it is important to understand the relationship between prime entry books and source documents. Okay, so you can take a couple of minutes and write them down. හරිනේ මම අර කලින් okay, so we told now we record things in prime entry books, okay, first, and then ledger accounts, and then trial balance. But when we are going to record things in the prime entry books, okay, what happens is we are taking them from source documents. Okay, we are taking those information from source documents. Okay, source documents. So as and when the transactions take place in a business, the documents prepared include of such transactions and authorized by person in charge are known as source documents. හරිද? එතකොට දැන් අපි ඉගෙන ගන්න මොනවද? source documents ගැන. Right? Source documents. So when there is a transactions, okay, when there is a transaction, okay, so it's a document prepared including all the details of the transaction, all the details of the transactions. As well as person who authorize it. Person who authorize it. So it includes all the details of the transaction as well as person who authorize it. Okay. And then each source document is prepared by business is assigned a serial number. That means source documents will have a specialty එක තමයි. Source documents have a unique number. Source documents have a unique serial number. ඒ කියන්නේ source document කියන්නේ දැන් අපි හිතමුකෝ අපිට සමහරක් වෙලාවට තියෙන්න පුළුවන් sales journal vouchers කියලා જાතියක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්, right? Sales journal vouchers. Okay. එතකොට ඒ vouchers නම් ඒ vouchers හැම එකටම unique number එකක් තියෙනවා. පළවෙනි පිටුවේ 0.01 කියලා තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ 0.02 කියලා තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ 0.03 කියලා තියෙනවා. කවමදාවත් මේක number එකක් repeat වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේක number එකක් repeat වෙන්නේ නැහැ. කවදාවත් 1 2 3 ආයෙත් කවදාවත් 1 කියලා ඇවිල්ලා 4 කියලා යන්නේ නැහැ කවදාවත්. Right? So they have a assigned serial number. And source documents are used as basis for recording transactions in the prime entry books of a business. Source documents are used as the basis for recording the transactions in the prime entry books of the business. So that, what does it mean? If you have a transaction in the prime entry book, then you should have a source document for that. ඔයාට prime entry book එකේ නිකන් transactions දාන්න බෑ. ඔයා අනිවාර්යෙන්ම ඔයාට තියෙන්න ඕනේ source document එකක්. What does it mean when you have a source document? That source document have all the details of the transactions and the person who authorized it. This is very important because in businesses, we are working with money. And when we work with money, each and every person should be held accountable for their transaction. අපි සල්ලිත් එක වැඩ කරද්දී ඒ transactions කරන හැමෝටම වගකීම දීලා තියන්න ඕනේ. කැමති දේවල් කරන්න බෑ. එහෙම කරොත් එමේ ඒ වගේ transactions වලදී මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඒවයි වංචා සිද්ධ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. There can be frauds happening. So because of that, we cannot let it happen. So we don't allow it. So what do? We have source documents for each transaction recorded in the prime entry book. And in the source documents, we have all the details of the transaction as well as person who authorized it. And in source documents, you have a unique number called a serial number. Serial number is a unique number. ඒක කොයිම වෙලාවකත් repeat වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Okay. So source documents අපි දැන් කතා වුණානේ මේ source document එකේ all the details of the transactions තියෙනවා කියලා. අපි කතා වුණානේ. Let's see what are them. Okay, let's see what are them. Okay, source documents include following details. name and address of the business. Okay, source document. Source document. So source document have what? Name and address of the business. Name and address of the business. Then it has the serial number. Okay. Then date of the transaction. Very important, because when a transaction is there, we should know which date it happened. Okay. The date on which transaction has taken place. Then the details of the other party that is connected to the transaction. Okay. Details of the other party. Okay. It can be a seller or buyer, customer, okay, whatever. Okay. Then description of the transaction. A transaction again, description of the transaction. Description of the transaction. You can how many goods sold, number, then at what price. Likewise, description of the transaction. The monetary value of the transaction. Okay. Monetary value of the transaction. Important, no? Now let's say you did some sale. You should always include how much it is. Monetary value, right? Then signature of the officer who is responsible. අපි මොන හරි payment එකක් කරා නම් ඒ payment එක කරපු officer කවුද කියන එක සඳහන් වෙලා තියෙනවා. Right? So name and address of the business, then serial number, the date on which transaction had taken place, the details of the other party that is connected to the transaction, the description of the transaction, monetary value of the transaction, and signature of the officer who is responsible for the transaction is included in the source document. Okay. Now, the table given below shows examples of various source documents used for recording transactions in different types of primary books. Now, this is something examinable, and this is something that we have to memorize and we have to remember. Okay. Now, if it is a cash book, source documents include receipts and payment vouchers. Okay. Salli hambunewai, gewpewai, receipts and payment vouchers. Bank account. Bank account got a deposit slip, payment voucher, bank statement, and check return notification. Okay. Then petty cash book. So for the petty cash book, it includes petty cash payment voucher. Then purchases journal, source document is purchases invoice. Sales journal, sales invoice. General journal, journal voucher. So those are the source documents. එතකොට අපිට පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ prime entry book එක දුන්නොත් ඒකට අදාළ source documents මොනවද කියන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? Similarly, කවුරු හරි අපිට source document එක දුන්නොත් ඒකට අදාළ prime entry book එක මොකක්ද කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නත් ඕනේ. Right? Both ways. We should be able to do it. So let's take a couple of minutes and write the note. I will read it out and then you can write it. Put the subheading as the source documents. As and when transactions take place in a business, the document prepared including all the details of such transaction and authorized by a person in charge are known as source documents. Each source document prepared by a business is assigned in a serial number. Source documents are used as basis for recording the transactions in primary books of a business. Source documents include following details: name and address of the business, serial number, the date of which transaction had taken place, the details of the other party connected to the transaction, description of the transaction, monetary value of the transaction, signature of the officer who is responsible for transaction. Then you will have to draw down this table. The table given below shows examples of various source documents used for recording transactions in different types of prime entry books. Okay. Then you have the prime entry book and relevant source document. Okay. So you can take a couple of minutes and write down this note. Take a couple of minutes and write it. Okay. When you finish writing, please tell me, students.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Vinodi, Vinodi, if we have the class at this time every day, is will it be okay for you?
It's fine, sir.
It's fine, no? Akash, is this time fine for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then let's have the class at 3 o'clock next day onwards. Okay,
Okay, sir.
okay. Vinodi, it's fine with you, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then let's do like that. Have you finished writing?
No, sir.
Can you take a screenshot? We have only 10 minutes remaining. So I will explain the next slide as well, and then we can finish off the class as this 10 minutes is over. Can you take a screenshot of this?
Okay, sir.
Vinay, did you take a screenshot?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then take a screenshot of this as well. Okay, no? Did you take the screenshot?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then I will do the next slide. Vinay and Nakesh, we will wait for this 6 minutes. How do make it the photo tag gano, screenshot tag gano? Source documents could be used for following purposes. Ek gano screenshot tag. Did you take it?
Yes.
Okay. Then where were you? Did both of you
The table,
completed
sir.
these two slides completed? Vinodi, did you complete these two slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then Akash, did you complete two slides?
Yes, sir. I'm currently in the table.
Okay. Then complete the table. Okay. Then complete the table. We have about 5 minutes. So in that 5 minutes, you can write it and complete. So with that, we have completed the prime entry books lesson.
What?
Okay. So with that, we have completed the prime entry books lesson.
Okay.
Then I can switch it to the next slide. Okay. Vinidhi, have you finished with the
No, sir.
table? Okay, okay. I'll wait until you finish. As you finish, please tell me, then we will move on to the next slide. Akish, how many students in your class do English medium commerce?
About 14, sir.
14 students.
So 14 in our class.
Ah, that's a very good number, no?
Finish it.
Finished. Okay. Then you can write this slide. You have about 1 minute remaining, 1 minute 40 seconds. Then afterwards, this slide will automatically end. Okay.